Welcome back to the Awesome Agents podcast. Today we're talking about the biggest check ever written in AI. Amazon just invested $50 billion in OpenAI.
50 billion. And honestly, the money isn't even the most interesting part of this deal.
Okay, that is a bold statement when we're talking about $50 billion. What's more interesting than the money?
The stateful runtime environment. Amazon and OpenAI are co-building a new infrastructure layer on AWS that gives AI agents persistent memory and tool state across sessions.
Wait, so right now when you build an agent on top of these APIs, every new request just starts fresh? Like amnesia every time?
Pretty much. You have to rehydrate context, rebuild tool state, and glue together multi-step workflows yourself. It's a huge pain point for anyone doing serious agent orchestration.
And this new runtime just handles all of that at the platform level?
That is the promise. Agents running inside it can maintain working memory, keep tool and workflow state, propagate identity through IAM. Basically, the agent remembers who it is and what it was doing.
So Maya, break down the actual deal structure for me. Where does the money go?
Sure, 15 billion upfront, 35 billion more that unlocks when OpenAI hits certain milestones and goes through an IPO. On top of that, OpenAI is expanding its AWS cloud contract by 100 billion over 8 years.
100 billion. That's roughly 17 billion a year in AWS revenue, right?
About 11% of AWS's projected 2026 revenue if spending is spread evenly. And OpenAI is committing to 2 gigawatts of Trainium capacity. That is Amazon's custom AI silicon.
2 gigawatts. That's enough to power a mid-sized city. Why does Amazon care so much about getting OpenAI on Trainium?
Validation. Trainium is competing with NVIDIA's H100 and B200. Getting OpenAI to train and run models on it is the strongest endorsement Amazon could ask for.
Here is what confuses me though. Microsoft Azure still has the exclusive deal for OpenAI's regular APIs, right? So now you have two clouds running OpenAI?
Exactly. Azure gets stateless, AWS gets stateful. So enterprises could end up running the same models on 2 different clouds depending on the workload.
That sounds like a headache waiting to happen.
It is. The article calls it the split brain problem, and the state formats and control APIs haven't been published yet. If they're proprietary to AWS, you are locked in the moment you adopt this runtime.
So the thing that makes it powerful is also the thing that makes it sticky.
Classic cloud playbook, honestly.
And there is another wrinkle here. Amazon already has a huge partnership with Anthropic through Bedrock. Now they're adding OpenAI Frontier to the same distribution channel.
Right. Amazon has invested billions in Anthropic and positioned Claude as its flagship AI partner. Now OpenAI's enterprise platform sits right next to it. That has to create some tension.
Do you think Anthropic is worried?
They'd say no. But the stateful versus stateless split does create nominally different market segments, so maybe it works out. The real question is whether customers see them as substitutes.
What about the timeline? When can people actually use this?
That's the catch. The stateful runtime isn't available yet. They said coming months from the February announcement. Trainium 4, the next gen chip, doesn't arrive until 2027. And the second tranche of Amazon's investment is gated on an IPO that has not been scheduled.
So there's a lot of future tense in this deal.
A lot. No pricing, no public benchmarks comparing Trainium to NVIDIA on actual OpenAI workloads. It is a massive bet on infrastructure that doesn't fully exist yet.
But if it works, what does that change?
If the stateful runtime delivers, it could become the default control plane for agentic AI in production. Every enterprise running multi-step agent workflows would want this.
The default control plane, that's a big claim.
It is. But that's what $50 billion buys you. The chance to own the layer between the models and the actual work.
Maya, always great getting your take. For everyone listening, we'll drop a link to the full article in the show notes. Until next time, stay curious.
See you next episode.